Hey everyone, I'm Lisa with Prescott Real Estate and Living. And if you're thinking about moving to Prescott, Arizona, there's a neighborhood that quietly flies under the radar. But once people drive through it, many of them think, hey, this is exactly what we're looking for. People who are moving here from California, Washington, Phoenix, and all over the country reach out to us all the time to help them match neighborhoods to their lifestyle. Today, I'm taking you on a driving tour of the Cliff Rose subdivision in Prescott. And this neighborhood may surprise you because it gives you something that's getting harder and harder to find in Prescott. Established homes, views, a central location, and a quieter lifestyle without feeling packed into a giant master plan community. And here's something interesting. A lot of people moving to Prescott don't even know Cliff Rose exists until we show it to them. So by the end of this video, you'll know the pros, the cons, what homes are like here, pricing, views, and HOA details. All right, let's go take a drive through Cliff Rose. Now, one of the first things you notice driving through Cliff Rose is that this neighborhood feels different from a lot of newer communities. And I mean that in a good way. The streets are more winding, the lots feel less cramped, the landscape is mature, and the homes have more variety and personality compared to some newer subdivisions where every house can start looking the same. And here's a fun little detail a lot of people notice once they start driving through the neighborhood. Many of the streets in Cliff Rose are actually named after streets from the Monopoly board game. So you'll see names like Boardwalk Avenue, Reading Lane, Atlantic Avenue, and Oriental Avenue. It gives the neighborhood a little extra personality and honestly makes it kind of memorable compared to a lot of subdivisions where every street name just blends together. And in just a minute, I'm going to show you why some buyers specifically target this neighborhood over some of Prescott's more expensive golf communities. Cliff Rose is located on the northeast side of Prescott, just off Highway 89, and honestly, the location is one of the biggest selling points. You're only a few minutes from Costco, Trader Joe's, restaurants, medical services, shopping, and everyday conveniences, but you're also only about 10 minutes from historic downtown Prescott. That combination is hard to beat. A lot of buyers moving to Prescott want convenience, but they don't want to feel like they're living in Phoenix suburbia. And Cliff Rose really balances those two things really well. Now let's talk about some of the homes themselves. Most of the homes here were built from the late 1980s through the early 2000s, although there are some newer homes mixed in. And one thing I personally like is that you get much more architectural variety here. You see ranch homes, contemporary styles, custom homes, single-level homes, and some hillside homes with absolutely incredible views and a finished basement, which is great for generational living or guest space. And speaking of views, wait until you see why some people buy in Cliff Rose, specifically because of the scenery. Depending on where you are in the neighborhood, you can get views of Granite Dells, Granite Mountain, Watson Lake, Thumb Butte, and surrounding mountain ranges. You get blue skies, mountain views, maybe some pine trees, and that quieter high desert lifestyle Prescott is known for. Let's talk about pricing in this subdivision. At the time of this tour, there are 6 homes on the market, priced from $490,000 for a 1,615 square foot home with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and a 2-car garage, all the way up to $1.2 million for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,000 square foot new construction home. So you can see there's a lot of variety here. In the last year, 20 homes have sold in Cliff Rose, ranging from a very modest 1,219 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage home for $340,000, up to a 4-bedroom with an option for 6 bedrooms, 4 baths, 3,056 square foot home with a 2-car garage for $738,500. Something else buyers always ask us about is the HOA fees and amenities. Cliff Rose does have an HOA, but compared to some other Prescott communities, It's reasonable at about $144 a year. This is not a giant resort-style golf community with massive monthly fees and giant clubhouses. Instead, Cliff Rose focuses more on maintaining the neighborhood itself. Here's one thing about this neighborhood a lot of people don't know about. Cliff Rose offers RV parking availability through the HOA, which can be a huge bonus for people who travel, own RVs, or need extra flexibility. Now let's talk lifestyle, because this is where Cliff Rose really starts making sense for certain buyers. If you like outdoor recreation, you're incredibly close to the Granite Dells, Watson Lake, hiking trails, kayaking, biking, and all kinds of outdoor activities. And another nice feature is that you're close to medical facilities, shopping, and services without having to drive way out of town. That becomes increasingly important for a lot of buyers over time. Now, no neighborhood is perfect, so let's talk honestly about a few possible downsides. Because Cliff Rose is more established, some homes may still have older interiors or need updating, depending on the property. You'll also find some steeper driveways and multi-level homes in portions of the neighborhood because of the terrain. But as I mentioned before, a finished basement can provide for extra space for guests, family, or maybe even rental income. You will also find flatter lots and single-level living, so it really depends on your lifestyle and priorities. And there's one final thing about Cliff Rose that's actually very telling. People tend to stay here a long time. Inventory can sometimes be limited simply because homeowners don't move very often once they've settled in. And honestly, that usually says something good about a neighborhood. Overall, Cliff Rose is one of those neighborhoods that quietly checks a lot of boxes, like its central Prescott location, beautiful scenery, established feel, reasonable HOA, close to shopping and downtown, outdoor recreation is nearby, and a lifestyle that feels very Prescott without necessarily paying luxury golf community prices. And if you're trying to figure out whether Cliff Rose or maybe another Prescott neighborhood fits your lifestyle best, feel free to reach out. Jessica and I help people relocate to Prescott, Arizona all the time, and we'd love to help guide you through the process, narrow down neighborhoods, and help you avoid expensive mistakes before you move. And if you've enjoyed this neighborhood tour, make sure to subscribe, because we do a ton of videos about Prescott, Arizona neighborhoods, real estate, lifestyle, relocation tips, and everything you should know before moving here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.